Welcome back. In this session we will explore some of the mental aspects that affect our well-being. There are three main areas that affect our mental well-being. These are your mental health, intellectual well-being and sleep. Try and remember these three main areas for the quiz later on as we will test your memory. Mental well-being is a normal part of daily life in the same way as your physical health. Do you know what mental health means? If you are thinking it means the health of our mind, then you are right. Our mental health is how we think, act and feel. Take a moment to reflect on your own mental health. How are you feeling? What are your moods like? Do you think you feel happy more often than you feel sad? It is healthy and normal to feel a range of emotions. This includes being happy, sad, inspired, angry, excited, frustrated and other emotions in response to certain situations or events. However, if you are feeling sad, tired, and uninspired or much more often than you feel happy, energetic and inspired, then you may be suffering from poor mental health and require support to help improve your mood. Does this sound familiar to you? If so, then you should speak to someone about how you are feeling. Do you know who you would talk to if you felt like this? You could talk to a parent/guardian or even your doctor, but your teacher is also someone who you can talk to, trust and who will get you the right support. It is important that if you are feeling unhappy, hopeless, sad, lonely, frustrated or find you do not have energy or enjoy activities that you seek help. It is not normal to feel like this for a long time. Getting help and support early on is best so you can stop feeling like that as quickly as possible. Did you know that feeling anxious and unhappy for long periods of time can affect other areas of your health, too? If you feel like this for an extended period of time, you are more likely to suffer from a lower immune system. You are also far less likely to look after yourself in other areas of your well-being, including not doing enough physical activity, not getting enough sleep, not having a balanced diet or neglecting to see your friends or do any of your hobbies. This is why it is crucial to seek help if you feel bad for more than 2 weeks. Do you feel anxious often? Everyone experiences anxiety and nervousness in their life from time to time. For example, you may feel anxious or worried if you have to speak in front of the class or do a performance. You may feel this if you are on a tall building and peer over the edge and it's a long way down. This is normal. However, if you find yourself feeling nervous or anxious a lot, then it might help to speak to someone, too. One example where it might be unusual to feel very anxious is if you are worried about going to school, attending a group activity or seeing other people. This should feel normal and should not fill you with dread. If this worries you, it is worth speaking to your parent and teacher about this, who will be able to help you deal with these feelings. Listen out, quiz question coming up. Do you think you can experience poor mental health without being diagnosed? This means being told by a doctor that you have a mental health condition or illness? The answer is yes, you can. Experiencing poor mental health is different to having a mental illness. Even if you are currently experiencing good mental health now, it is important to know that it is rare to reach old age without having poor mental health at some point in your life. This is why it is important for you to learn about what mental health is. Knowing what to do if you are experiencing poor mental health means you are more likely to stop yourself from becoming ill and enables you to improve your well-being. It is good to be able to recognize the difference between good mental health and poor mental health. Struggling to concentrate at school or in conversation, feeling tearful, and suddenly feeling uninterested in your hobbies are all signs that you may be experiencing poor mental health. However, this varies from person to person. You should learn to be aware of your moods and what is normal for you. A good general rule is that if your mood is affecting how you usually live your life, then you should talk to someone about how you are feeling. Another quiz question coming up. What should you do if you have been feeling very anxious or sad or just generally not quite your normal self for more than 2 weeks? You should talk to your parent/guardian or your teacher or school nurse. They will be able to provide you with the necessary support you need. One way we can tell if we have good mental health is by our ability to deal with situations. How good are you at dealing with challenges? Can you calm yourself down and think about things positively if you begin to feel very nervous or stressed? Are you good at dealing with or adapting to change? If you can manage your emotions appropriately according to a specific situation, well, it is likely you have good mental health. What does this look like, you may ask? Learning to rationalize our thoughts is key to having good mental health. Do you know what rationalize means? When we rationalize something, it means we come up with reasons based on evidence on how we should react or think about something. Consider this example. It has been your birthday recently and you had a delicious birthday cake. There's only one slice left which you have been looking forward to eating after school. When you get home, you go to the fridge and discover that the birthday cake slice you wanted to eat has gone. You look around and discover an empty plate with cake crumbs on it and realize your sister has eaten the cake before going to football practice. You experience a rush of anger and want to scream at her and cry with rage. You wanted that piece of cake so badly. However, you are a warrior who has developed the ability to rationalize your response to things. Instead, you take a moment to consider your feelings. On the one hand, you do feel disappointed that you did not get to eat the cake. Your sister should have thought of you before she took it for herself, since it was your birthday cake, after all. On the other hand, you did not communicate that you were saving that slice for yourself. You also don't know the full story. Maybe your sister was in a rush and did not have time to eat anything else and she feels bad about it. Instead of holding on to those bad feelings of anger, disappointment and frustration until your sister gets home so you can shout at her, you decide to let it go. When she does return home, you will tell her calmly that you wanted that slice of cake and ask her to think of you first in the future before taking it. This way it won't happen again. This is a rational response because you have considered the arguments and evidence equally and responded fairly. As we get older and experience more situations, we become better at being able to rationalize things. However, this is something that some adults can still struggle with. The more satisfied with life and happy you are, the more likely you are to be able to manage your emotions and respond to things rationally. You are learning about all the different areas of your well-being in this course. The key to being truly healthy and happy is by looking after all areas of your well-being at once. All parts of your well-being affect and influence each other. For example, a great way to manage your mental well-being is by making sure you are getting the recommended amount of physical activity and spending time with your friends. Therefore, looking after your physical and social well-being will positively impact your mental well-being. This is true for all areas of your well-being. Do you remember me mentioning that intellectual well-being is part of your mental well-being? This may sound unusual. You may wonder what intellectual well-being even is. Intellectual well-being relates to your learning, skills and development, and relates to how much you are continuously satisfying your human need to test yourself and learn new things. Intellectual is a fancy word for your brain's knowledge and understanding of things. It is linked to your cognitive function, which involves your thinking, reasoning and remembering. You may not realize it, but your intellectual well-being influences your mental health and well-being. It is extremely beneficial for us to continuously be learning and challenging our brain. You do not need to know exactly how this is good for the health of our brain, but trust me, it is. Can you remember a time when you have mastered a new skill? How did it make you feel? It is likely that you felt a great sense of achievement and confidence. It may have even inspired you to develop your skills further and try new things. Challenging yourself can sometimes feel uncomfortable in the moment, but the rewards are huge and key for personal growth and development. Your intellectual well-being can positively affect your mental health. If you are making efforts to learn new skills and acquire knowledge, you are more likely to be open-minded, think more clearly, have a better sense of self-perception, greater confidence, and develop your own ideas and thoughts. Overall, you will feel better about yourself and feel more able to make decisions and face challenges in your life. Your intellectual well-being is linked to how you are performing at school and later in your life work, too, but it is also part of your personal life and development. You can improve your intellectual well-being by trying new things such as a new hobby or experience, reading, doing things that you find challenging, and practice self-reflection after doing an activity. For example, ask yourself, what did I do well? What do I need to work on next time to improve? You should also practice creativity. The more we invent and imagine things, the richer our minds are. Another great way you can improve your intellectual well-being is by engaging in healthy debates with others and listening to other points of view. This will increase your understanding and empathy for others. Try and remember at least 3 of these ways you can improve your intellectual well-being for the quiz. As is always the case, all areas of your well-being overlap. You will find it hard to have good intellectual well-being if you are not exercising, sleeping, or eating a balanced diet. These are all things you need to do to help your brain learn and remember things. Talking of sleep, let's look at some of the ways sleep is important to having good mental health. Sometimes we can neglect our sleep and think it is not a priority. I understand, sometimes your video game or book that you're reading is just too gripping to stop. But allow me to show you why sleep is so important to us. We spend 1/3 of our lives asleep. It is as essential as eating, drinking, and breathing. Missing out on sleep can severely impact our physical and mental health. Sleep is necessary to your growth. If you want to be clever, strong, happy, powerful, creative, and function at your best, you need to get enough sleep. Do you know how much sleep you need? The answer is actually more complicated than you think and depends on your age. Try and remember this for the quiz later on. If you are between 6 and 12 years old, you should be getting 9 to 12 hours a day. If you are between 13 and 18 years old, you should be getting 8 to 10 hours a day. How much sleep should you be getting? Do you think you get enough sleep? Sleep helps to improve mental and emotional health. Whilst you sleep, the parts of your brain that regulate emotion are the most active. This may be why dreaming is often described as your subconscious feelings, needs, and wants, manifested through dreams to deal with important or traumatic events. When you do not get enough sleep, these parts of your brain are more likely to overreact. While you sleep, your brain is more active than you think. It is repeatedly cycling through different stages of activity, which allows your body and mind to repair and recover for the next day. Pay attention now. A good night's sleep dramatically benefits your ability to think in areas such as problem solving, memory, creativity, decision making, and concentration. If you are getting enough sleep, you are more likely to experience better moods, feel less anxious, and find things less stressful. This will positively impact the physical and social aspects of your life, as well as your mental health. Do you struggle to get enough sleep? Even if you do get enough sleep, it is good to know some tips to improve your sleep. As we go through life, people tend to experience periods of sleeping well and sleeping poorly, so these tips will be good to hold on to and remember. Some of the things you can do to have better sleep include following a regular sleep routine, eating a balanced diet, looking after your emotional well-being, and not using your digital devices before bed. Let's explore those ideas more. Going to sleep and waking up at roughly the same time each day is good for us, as our body learns when it should be asleep. A sleep schedule is important to ensure consistent, high-quality sleep. Make sure that you stick to it as much as possible once you set your schedule, even on weekends when you may be inclined to stay up and wake up later. Dealing with your emotions in the day by talking to people will help you sleep better and reduce bad dreams that can wake you up. A balanced diet is essential to a healthy sleep. There are important nutrients that actually help you sleep. Pretty cool. Make sure your room is dark, quiet, and the right temperature. If you find you are woken up because it is too hot, too bright in the morning, or too loud, speak to your parents about ways you can change this. Exercise can burn off anxious energy and help you sleep with a calm body and mind. Just make sure you don't exercise too close to going to sleep, as it can leave your body revved up and you may find it difficult to go to sleep. Using digital devices close before going to sleep can prevent our brains from switching off due to the light and stimulation, so try to avoid using them before going to sleep. Sleep is vital to the health of our mind and body, so making sure you get enough is crucial for our mental well-being. We covered a lot in this session, well done for sticking with it. Remember that to improve your mental well-being you must look after your mental health, intellectual well-being and make sure you're getting enough sleep. The other key takeaway from this session is that if you are experiencing low mood and anxiety for a long period of time, you should talk to somebody about it. Are you ready for a quiz? It may be a good idea to write your answers down. Then if you want to build on your answer you can make notes so you can remember it next time.